Good morning. I am super happy to be here with you today, and we're going to talk about, let me find my notes here. I have a bunch of notes on what I was going to talk about today, and they have left me, and so you do not want me just going on and on and on about something without some notes, but I think you're going to have that. So here's the thing. Everybody wants the result, you know, everybody. Like, I've had so many people come to me and they've said, Paula, I want to be a millionaire. I want to be a millionaire. And by the way, if you want to be a millionaire and you're on live with me right now, please give me a thumbs up. And I'm looking for my live right now too, so I can connect with you and see all of the people commenting. And I'm looking for all of that too. So, if you are wanting to have $1 million, if you're wanting to have the life of your dreams, if you want it so bad, and good morning, hey Tracy, good morning. If you want that so bad, you can just, like, sometimes you stay up at night thinking about it. Everybody wants that, right? Everybody, anybody who's like an entrepreneur or something like that really has these kind of big dreams. And they'll say it to me, I want it so bad. And so I'm like, great, let's get going on it. Let's do this. I'm going to give you an example of this in just a minute. I have a client, and I probably should use myself as an example, but I have a client who wants more money. She wants a lot more money, right? And she's having some problems in her investments, and so she found out that she's going to have a baby. So she has an opportunity, and she wants, of course, to make more money and to take care of her investments and those kind of things. Please say hi as you jump on. Hi, everybody. And she wants all those, things to come together. And so I gave her an opportunity in my company to do something for me, going out and looking for projects, for real estate deals. And she hasn't acted on it, hasn't done anything, but she really wants it, right? So I hear it all the time, you want it. And we live in this culture where you want, to lose the 30 pounds quickly, right? Anybody like me, like, you look in the mirror in the morning and you're like, hey, if I don't eat today, maybe I'll lose 10 pounds, right? Or you go looking for that program of, if I get on this program and drink this special tea that promises to help me lose weight, it'll happen, right? So everybody wants stuff so fast. We want the $1 million like in a week. We want real estate. We want our flip to make us $1 million. We want everything to be fast. We live in this culture where even shorts, like shorts on YouTube, that's what most of us are watching in TikTok, right? Everything's short and quick, right? So that is something that gives us this idea that things should happen right now. Right? Absolutely right now. And if they're not, then what do we say? What do we say if things don't happen right now? Like, let's say, has anybody on here ever started a business or went on an online course or went down the road of even going live like I am now, went live, and you saw somebody else who had posted this video. And by the way, I'm going to just say that there's a lot of people that are online that are full of BS. I'm just going to tell you that. And I never know, I see people, especially people that claim they're billionaires in a week or something like that. I always wonder. I mean, I'm not going to say they're not, but I always wonder. And so anyway, you see those things where people are like, oh yeah, I got monetized on YouTube in 2 days, or I have 2 billion followers and it only took me 30 days, or I have this, or I have that, and it only took me, a week. And then you get pulled in, right? Because we have a culture of wanting things that just goes fast. We want things going really fast for ourselves. And so we chase it. We chase it. We want the six figures in a month. We want to flip the one house and be totally wealthy. We want to go viral overnight. Everybody wants shortcuts. But then reality sets in. And so you go and you post for 3 weeks and you don't get many results. Or I saw this Gary Vee, this is what inspired me this morning to think about this for myself, about myself, and to sort of bring this up with us in the community. And I'd love you to comment on this if you do this. But he was saying, anybody know who Gary Vee is? Say me if you do. But he had this video I saw this morning where he was like, everybody wants it, everybody wants it. And then I say, good, go after it, go get it, go, go start that business, go, go get online, go get on social media. And then they come back to him and he said, and then they call me and they say, I've sent for, it's just not working. Nothing ever works for me. And he's like, well, what happened? What did you do? What, what's going on? Let's try to diagnose it. And they'll tell him they did 4 emails, and it's not working, right? So, you get on these kicks where it's supposed to happen fast, and then you go and post. You post for 3 weeks. Or you send 5 emails, or you send maybe even 500-foot postcards about your business or about your real estate listings. Or you go, like you want to get into real estate investing and you go look at, a few houses. I looked at 5 houses and nothing's working. Or this is the worst one, I prayed about it and I'm not getting any answers. I prayed one day. I prayed for 30 minutes, maybe even 30 seconds, probably 30 seconds. And what comes next in a very short period of time, in probably almost all of our lives, and I'm guilty of this too, is the statement of, and it kills everything, it doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for me. Has anybody ever said that? You got started doing something, you got started doing a business, you got started going down a road of what you wanted to create, and you really, 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 like, this time it's going to happen. I want this so bad down in my gut. I want the $1 million. I want the investment. I want this success. This is a story of success. And then you do a few things, and in a few weeks or a few days, nothing's happening. And then you start saying, why me? Why doesn't it work for me? And you start comparing yourself to other people. You start comparing yourself to the people that said they did it in a week, or they did it in, a day or whatever. And that's the other thing. They may be full of BS. They may be full of, I tell you, it's a great sell. It's a great selling point to offer. I saw an ad this morning where this guy was offering, if you learn how to do AI, he was filming, he said, I went from, charging scooters at night, and putting them out just to make money, to making, like, I don't know, 500 million. It was an outrageous amount of money. I can't remember exactly how much. $500 million a year, in an AI business in just like 3 months' time, and then he's driving around in this car, and he's naming the amount, my $400,000 car, my dream house, and it's got a pool, it's a big old house, and all the things. And you're watching that and you're like, well, God, what can I do? And the reality is that sounds so good, and it pulls us in, but for most people, it doesn't work that way. For most people, I just haven't stayed in the game long enough. Somebody type that in, staying in the game long enough. Okay, that we have this, it's going to happen in a minute culture, and this idea that we are not a success if it doesn't happen overnight, and that we're watching other people and comparing to other people, and there probably are 0.1% people that this works out for in a day. But for the most part, if you look at extremely successful people that have been successful for you know, and have maintained success. Thank you, Tracy. Staying in the game long enough. Yes, thank you. If you look at really successful people and how they're growing and how they're scaling and how they're going, it is never overnight. And in fact, this word came to me, and thank you, God, for putting this back on my brain, because when I was thinking about this, talking to you all this morning and having this conversation with everybody, this came to me that is the story, that overnight success is a story of starting. It's the story of starting. It is not the story of sustaining and scaling. And if you want to be a person that has true wealth and really gets what you want, you got to be ready not to just start, but to sustain and scale. And those short-term I'm going to have it once. And you know, I teach people how to flip houses. That's one thing I do in my real estate business. And I can tell you that if you come into real estate investing thinking you may make a lot of money off your first house. But if you think you're going to make a legacy type of money off of flipping one house, you're flipped out. It's the long game. You look at Elon Musk. Look at, you know, whoever. Somebody name some famous people that you know, some famous wealthy people that you know. I mean, all of them stayed in the game, and almost all of them have a story of how they didn't succeed right away, how they had to overcome obstacles, how they stayed in it, how they went live when nobody was on with them. I mean, even your influencers, most people that have been doing something of value, something of service, I would say if it's service to God, it probably takes a minute, because most service happens in community, and most of us take a minute to build community, okay? So I've lived this too. And I can tell you that in my lifetime, not only have I built businesses to start that are really successful to start, I've helped other people build businesses to start that have been very successful to start. But it always comes down to, what are you going to do when your passion is still there, when you're still being called by God to do the thing that you feel is your purpose, and nobody shows up? Or you have 2 months where no money comes in, or you have 5 clients that didn't make the results that you said, you know, you offered, that you said that you could help them get. Every time that I have been involved in supporting someone in building a business, and certainly myself, there is that time where you think, maybe this doesn't work for me. Maybe it's not working for me. Maybe I'm doing it all wrong. Maybe I don't know what I'm doing. And you know who really loves that? What do you think's happening to you spiritually when that happens? Number one, it is an absolute test. When that happens for me, now I know. I used to want to bail out. And go find something else to do, right? But now I know that is the destroyer. That is the devil, whatever you call it, the evil one. If he or that spirit can get under me and start me doubting myself, me doubting God's purpose, my calling, my passion, what I'm excited about, I really want this. I feel called to this. That's the statement we started out with, right? If the destroyer can get us to turn away from that and to turn our heads to, it doesn't work for me, then he's won. And God's purpose will not go forward, and you cannot obtain that. Now, let me say something about this, because it's okay. You can have those feelings and still be successful. You can have that happen where you're thinking to yourself, maybe it's not working for me, or maybe nobody cares, or, you know, or, you know, nobody's showing up for this live, you know, right now. You know, how many people are on with me right now? When I was just with Keith, I'm in my studio. You can tell, look how pretty it is. And I'm with Keith, the producer, and you hear a lot about my conversations with Keith, and we talk about what we're going to, you know, go lives and stuff like that. And he was telling me somebody, I can't remember the person's name, but you probably know them if they're an influencer, but they jumped on, and I guess they were talking about the soccer tournament yesterday, and they turned on their live on YouTube, and he said in just a matter of like 30 seconds, there were more than, what was it, 10,000 people on or something like that, Keith. It was just an amazing amount of people who just saw him and jumped on live. And I said to Keith, how does he do that? What is he doing? And Keith said to me, he's been doing it for years. That guy today can come on a live and 10,000 people come on in the first 30 seconds. But it wasn't probably like that when he started. It might have been one person, it might have been two people, it might have been somebody, you know, sharing the thing with somebody else. And usually, I would say 99.9% of the time, this is the story about building and getting what you really want, really getting the money, really getting the business, really having this success. It's years of consistency, at the very minimum, months. Years of consistency, years of learning, and what? Years of mistakes. I actually am in a place now, somebody say hallelujah for mistakes. I like mistakes. Mistakes for me used to be, as I built my business, is, I'm going to talk about my real estate business in just a minute because that's probably the best example here. But I used to, if there was a mistake, and especially if I was losing money, because I'm going to tell you something, if you're building a business, if you're in real estate investing, if you're in any kind of, you know, money situation, there's going to be times where the money's not always coming in. There's sometimes when it's, you know, it's going out more than it's coming in. Anybody, amen, can experience that right now? And there have been times where I actually had real estate projects that they ended up being okay in the end, but for a while there, they were losing money. And I would take it very personally. Hallelujah. Yeah. I would take it very personally. And then when I finally, like I would hear, like, you know, people saying, oh, take your mistakes, learn from your mistakes are the best gift. And I'd be like, yeah, but fill my bank account, right? But when I finally like took that to heart, and I took that literally like God is teaching me something, God is preparing me something, God is helping me, and these mistakes could actually be the time and the place where I grow faster than anything else. If it was all on my plate from the beginning, if it was all beautiful from the beginning, would I grow or would I lose my attention? Would I really prove that it was that important? You know? So now I literally sit daily and talk to myself and sometimes my team about the mistakes. What are we learning here? We don't actually call them mistakes. We say, what have we learned? What have we learned? What are we going to do differently? And, you know, I've changed my whole real estate practice, my whole coaching real estate practice now twice in a year's time because of the feedback, the information, the learning that I'm receiving. Initially, I was strictly coaching people on how to go themselves and learn what I was teaching them and then go out and flip houses, and they just weren't getting the results that I knew they could get. So I took that program and turned it around based on mistakes, and it was painful for me because my clients weren't having the success I wanted them to have. And so when you're messing with other people and their money, that can be hard, and it's really hard for me. I take that hard. So I took a deep look at that, and I turned it into a done for you program where we find the project, the real estate project that we know the meat's on the bone for the money, and the you know, it's in the right place to buy, it's in all the things, it will sell fairly quickly. And now we're, this is a new learning. Well, it's not really a learning, but it became really evident in this market. We also are looking for the buyers for these houses. So you come on with me in the Done For You program. Not only are we finding you the house and then our team renovates it, but we're also finding you the end user. So less and less and less risk for my investors all the time, so they have the results. But that's been a result of not just, a day. It's been, literally a couple of years of learning. And I knew that pattern from my coaching business, my business coaching business. I know that it's going to be, it's actually kind of exciting to take the time and stay in there for the long game and to learn. And I'm going to tell you just, so that was the first turn. The second turn of my real estate coaching business is that I help people find buyers, that we're bringing buyers to the table. And the third turn is, it was pulling my heart so deeply that I did not just want to talk about, I'm going to teach you how to do real estate so you can make X amount of dollars. That I think making money is fine. Having abundance is of God. It is it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's something in my heart pulling at me saying, this needs to be about people doing real estate investing so they work on their God calling, their divine destiny, their purpose. They can fund their purpose. Somebody say, fund your purpose. That has been the latest turn and the most fulfilling turn in my real estate business of teaching people and being with investors, is that we have conversations with investors about why, real estate is the how. But what is the where? Where are you going? Where do you want this to go? You want a legacy? Do you want to give to other countries? Do you want to start a nonprofit? What are you being called to do? And then use real estate as a vehicle to get there. And it's not just about teaching you. And I don't want to be one of those people that also is saying, you follow me and you'll make $50 million. Follow me and you'll make $2 billion. You can follow me and you will make money. You will. But I want you to say, I made money and I'm on purpose. This is real estate on purpose, okay? So in terms of my own learning and my own real estate business, the years, I actually am like a massive, great strategist, real estate strategist. You can come to me, anybody that's on here right now, anybody that, if somebody else is in real estate, people that are not making money on their projects, people that want to get into real estate investing and don't know how, all the things. Literally yesterday, I was sitting on the front porch of a house that we're renovating right now. And actually one of my team members came up to me and she said, Paula, I want you to tell me, how can I buy a hotel with no money? How do I buy a hotel with no money? And I sat there for a minute and I was like, do a value add. Just go find people that have owned that hotel for a long time and go to them and ask if they'll owner finance. And then you two kind of work on the project and then give them in a certain amount of time the money for the hotel plus the money, a percentage of the money that you helped bring value to that hotel, and have it be owner finance with a value add. And she was like, wow, and those times and over and over and over again, I had another client that she was really mad at me, came in to do a flip, and the housing market right now, like I've said it before, is just craziness. And anybody else on here that knows that, say amen. Sometimes it sells really fast and other times it just hangs out. We can't figure out why. It's just, our economy, it's all the things, right? No, but okay, so she gets this house, she renovates it. The house is gorgeous. There's no reason why this house isn't selling. And we priced it right. We did a great job with comps. We knew it was right. And the house still wasn't selling. And of course, that starts really being expensive because you're making house payments and, you're hanging out. And so she's like, oh my God, and then she's, why did you do this to me? Yeah, Tracy, amen to the real estate market right now being nuts. We're all sitting here like listening to each other to, help each other out and figure it out. So anyway, she's really mad at me. And, you know, and then I start like thinking about what is the best use of her house. Well, residential is one thing, but this house was bigger and it basically had like different floors on it that were really renovated well. Great for multi-generational. So we went down the road of trying to market it to multi-generational. And then I was like, group living. This would be an amazing sober home, or, you know, a midterm rental for nurses. It's upscale enough where people would feel really comfortable. And my team and I, because she's in our program, took this and started marketing it. That house is selling for more than what she was asking for at top dollar. Now she's working on a creative finance solution with a corporate client, because of my strategy, my ability. And the point about that is, the reason that I am so good with real estate strategy and figuring out, like, how do you buy something with no money in? What do you do with a project that's sitting out there for a while? How do how do we come to the table with more options and opportunities? Where can we find more houses and markets that we could be in that, you know, maybe people that are older may want to sell, and how do we get connected with them? It's because I've been in this for years. I didn't just start this 2 years ago when I started real estate coaching. I've been doing real estate investing for 30 years. And there's not one, well, I learn of new things in real estate because people have new creative ideas. I love Pace Morby. He's one that just has those creative ideas. Follow him if you can. If you want to hear some creative financing ideas, he's great. And I will say, one time, you know, I was on a call with him and I was just celebrating, and he was saying something he was offering, and I said I was interested in it, and that man called me out. It was raked me over the coals, used my name publicly. I ought to not ever be talking about that man again because it was harsh and embarrassing. But he does have some really good ideas, and I like to follow him anyway. So you got to take what you can, right? Anyway, it's because 30 years of experience, I have been investing in real estate, and there's not one side of real estate that I don't think I've been in. I've been in commercial development, residential development, flipping, renting, real estate agent, a commercial real estate agent, funding. Now we're getting into, loans, loan brokering, syndications, finding investors. My strategy has been developed, my ability to like kind of click, this is what's going on, but what would match, what would work, is a result of one, gifts and talents that I have naturally, but two, experience. So back to the idea of hanging in there for the long term. That is a skill that I have different organizations come to me to use. I have people show up out of the blue and pay me for that advice. And that's because I stayed in there for the long game. I showed up when nobody believed in me. I put up with clients that weren't having the success they wanted and told me I was the worst human being ever, and lived through it and prayed through it. And I've done my own deals, and I've lost money, or I've lost time, or I've learned, I've fired contractors. That kind of stuff, that success, and where I stand today, and why I can so with authority tell you that I can help you in real estate investing and I can help you be successful, is because of the long game. So back to the point is, if you're expecting in a week or two to have expertise and make all that money, and you're saying, I'm really in it right now, I'm really going to make it happen, but then you try 2 or 3 things, and when it's not working, you start the game of, it doesn't work for me. I'm going to say a bad word right now, and y'all pray for me, but you're full of bullshit. I mean, it's just bullcrap. If you really want it, you're gonna maybe pout for a minute, and that's what I said earlier, is you can be successful and have these times and these feelings, but you just don't walk away. You kind of pout for a minute, brush yourself off, say a prayer, go back to it. Go back to it. Literally, I mean, There's been times where I've been live on Facebook. I have a lot of followers on Facebook. I have people that contact me in the DMs for, information and coaching and all kinds of things, and, want to partner up, and bigger, kind of celebrity people in the real estate world. And there's plenty of times where I've shown up at Facebook and nobody came on. And there were times, and just to tell you the truth, where I would be like, well, maybe I should just sign off. Maybe I should just stop speaking. Like literally in mid-sentence, I thought, well, nobody's on, nobody cares. I'm just going to quit speaking. But I kept on. Like I kept on speaking and said what I needed to say. And then the next time, and then the next time, and then people are interacting and all the things. So you don't see the thousands and thousands of small decisions that go into somebody building success. All we see is the presentation. I'm going to teach you how to do this overnight. So I want to bring in the other side of this too, to think about another perspective, because I love perspectives on what's going on. Instead of quitting, maybe you could think about your faith. And sometimes God is not ignoring you or saying no, but He might be saying, I see what you're doing, but don't do it like that. And there's a turn that you need to make. Like right now, I was really uncomfortable with what I was doing in my business, my real estate business. And all of a sudden I had this awareness, this turn from God, and things weren't going well. I mean, clients weren't coming on. I was just really questioning, and I had this turn. Don't do it like that. Here's a correction. It was a correction. And truthfully, often, not just, I have in my notes sometimes, but often, delay is protection. Whether it's, you go out with a man and you thought he was the perfect man for you, and, y'all were, going along, and then all of a sudden, the guy leaves, and then you find out, maybe a few months later after you're sad and all the things, that he was a creep. It's protection. Sometimes you just don't have enough of your, I would call it a container, a vessel, an ability to hold the kind of money you're going to make. You don't have the ability to hold it yet. And so God's not going to give it to you because it would all go away. And then it would destroy you. I presented this one time before in a live that, if your 5-year-old kid came to you and said, Daddy or Mommy, I really want a car. Can you go buy me a car? I want to drive a car. I mean, you would not, even though you love that child and you want them to have everything, the best for them is not going to buy them a car at 5 years old. If you handed them the keys to that car, you would destroy them. They would crash. They couldn't even reach the pedals. It would destroy them. And so sometimes your delay is spiritually a gift to you that's allowing you to do the next thing and try the next thing and learn the next thing, so that you build up a container that can hold what you really want. I have seen that over and over and over again. They say, some of God's greatest gifts are unanswered prayers. It's not so much that God isn't listening. He's preparing, right? So sometimes delay is the protection, and it can be correction and protection. So, and then what about your character? Like, what about receiving, I want you to be really honest, and you don't have to say anything to me about this right now, but I want you to be honest with yourself. Number one, you are thinking, I really want to do it. I really want this time. I really want that kind of money. I really want, millions and billions of dollars. I want $1 billion. One, can you believe that you can get it today, this moment? And two, do you have the character that would be able to hold and manage that kind of money if that came today? I want you to be really honest with yourself, because I've had not billions of dollars, but I've had multi-millions of dollars at my disposal before. And I can tell you that almost everybody I knew were asking me for loans. I started not trusting people because I didn't know what their avenue was, what their angle was in being with me. I did not at that time feel comfortable with it, and then also the ability to like discern, where the right placement of all of this is. I couldn't. I wasn't able to sustain it. It's clear because it went away. But I didn't have the character, and I needed to develop that character. Now today, do I have the character? I believe so. I believe that those experiences of losing it created the character. But I want you to be honest with yourself. If you are wanting to leave the table because you've sent 4 emails and nobody's responded to you, and you say you really want this, or you've shown up on live, or you've done a marketing plan to get more clients, and nobody's responded this one time, or 2 times, or 10 times, and you want to quit, or you do quit. Now you can want to quit, but then you come back to the table. That's a different thing. But you just say this, and then you get in the mindset, God doesn't care about me. This doesn't work for me. It never works for me. It's not working. What does that reflect about your character? I mean, really, be honest with yourself. You have to have the character that not only can make the money, but can own the money and hold the money. And if you don't have consistency, that money's not going to stay there. Money's an energy, and if it can't connect with your energy that can, zap into it and plug into it, it's not going to do it. It's just not going to stay. So real estate, like I've talked about before, is a really great example of this. And, it's one reason I really love real estate. You can make money and build wealth fairly quickly. Like, some of us invest in the stock market and we're in there for 30 years, where real estate in 10 years, you could probably match what you're going to get out of the stock market and go beyond that. But one flip in real estate is not going to make you rich. It's not going to make you wealthy. It's going to teach you a heck of a lot. And if I'm involved, I want you to have some great returns. But also, one rental isn't going to create financial freedom. I can tell you that. I've had 11 of them, and it didn't create financial freedom. It created a lot of headache, but not one rental, one flip. It's built over years. That's what legacy means. It's a result of you buying, holding, learning, making mistakes, making corrections, adjusting, and I'm going to add this in. This isn't in my note, but praying. Repeating. And real estate is a long game. I want you to be in it and play with me in the long game. Somebody type in again, staying in the game long enough. So here's the challenge for today. I've been talking for a while. Keith's probably over there sweating over how long I've been going live. But this is like, can you tell this is my passion? I really, really believe in this. And if you're coming in this and wanting really quick results, you're really good at starting. I want you to challenge yourself on this and ask yourself this. Your character is about starting, but is your character evolved enough to be about sustaining and scaling? It's a different mindset, and it's a different activity. And today I'm tired as crap. For the last 2 nights, I have not slept well at all. Part of it's I'm overthinking life and, praying and all the things, and I wake up at like 2 in the morning and then can't get back to sleep. I don't know if anybody else can identify with that. Amen, if you can. And I'm going to pray for you to be able to, sleep. But I didn't want to do a live today. I did one last week that was like, I'm just not feeling it, because that was another day. I didn't want to. In fact, I was going to call Keith and I was going to take the day off. But I was like, you know what? No, show up. No, show up. And the other thing I'm going to say is sometimes it's not a matter of like black or white. Like I show up and it might be that you show up and then people come in your world and aren't nice to you. And are you doing it for God? Are you impassioned and to be on purpose for God? or for people. Because when people aren't nice to you or they're mad at you and you quit because you are wondering what they're thinking, or you don't take an action because, you know, oh, that person was mad at me 2 weeks ago or whatever it was, or they've told their friend, I know I'm not going to ask them because they've told their friend I suck, or whatever it is. And I'm telling you this because I've had all these thoughts. If your character is still there in that place, you are not going to be able to scale. You're not going to be able to grow. You can start, but you won't be able to scale. You won't be able to grow. So you showing up is the first part, but doing it anyway because you're doing it because it's your passion and you believe it's right, and listening for the corrections and looking for the corrections and praising that there are corrections happening, because it's just going to make you better with your purpose, better with what you present, and it's going to have you evaluate, do I really want this? How do I turn this? What does God really want? And it's going to make you a strong receiver of what comes out of it. And if you just had it all at once in the beginning, you would only be a starter and you would not be a sustainer. Okay? So I want to challenge you. I want you to quit asking yourself, why isn't it working? Why isn't this working for me? I want you to instead ask yourself and write this in. And thank you, Tracy, for all your comments. I love it, love it, love it. Love having you here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Instead, I want you to ask yourself, who am I becoming because of this? If success is never, ever, ever about one breakthrough. I've had many, many breakthroughs, and they didn't always end up in success. It's about thousands and thousands and thousands of prayers and faithful decisions. Really, truly, who am I becoming? That's my challenge for you. If you can take that today and answer that, and show up and challenge yourself, am I starter or am I sustainer? And do it anyway, you're going to be in league with me and about 100 other people. And I love, and I'm going to say one more person that I follow all the time, and I just love his point of view on life. Myron Golden. Does anybody know Myron Golden on here? If you do not know him, go listen. But one of the things he said in it was a live or a training or something, I follow him and I take his trainings and stuff. But one of the things he said is, if you want to be at the top, there's plenty of room at the top. You just have to do the stuff to get there. It's at the bottom that's crowded. And the people that don't sustain are the ones who tend to stay at the bottom. So I invite you to keep going and be there for the long game. And talk to me about how it's going. I mean, I'll put in the show notes how you can get a hold of me, or just talk about it in the chat. I'm going to be on here. I come almost every day live. It's always my goal. The weekends, sometimes I take a time off. And you all know that on Fridays, I take a sabbatical, and I'm off of all devices from 6 p.m. on Friday evening until 6 p.m. on Saturday. And so you may not see me on because I am taking literally a sabbatical to be with the Lord and to pray and to be in peace and not be distracted. This stuff on, checking TikTok and, all the streamers and all the things can get quite distracting. So anyway, sometimes you won't see me on Fridays or Saturdays because of that. But anyway, who am I becoming, and what is the character that building in, staying in for the long run, and knowing that you're looking to be at the top where it isn't crowded, and the rest of the people do the thing of it's not working for me, and that's where it's crowded at the bottom. And I want you to come on here and talk about it. Talk on it now if you're watching this later. Tell me your thoughts about this. What has been your experience with this? Own it, And if you don't want to do it here, just think about it deeply, because this conversation has been the best conversation of my life that I have with myself and with my team, to hang in there and to do it, because you're going to encounter a lot of people that want you to quit, that tell you to go away, that tell you that you should do something else. And definitely the devil and the destroyer is trying to do that. So if you can hang in there and keep connecting with your purpose and figuring out, I literally I want you to literally, and I know people are like, I'm not going to do that. But when there's a problem, when that's being hard, when it's not working, I literally want you to go in prayer to God and say, thank you. This is the best. What a pleasure. What a pleasure this has happened, because I can learn, you can connect with me, I can be open to the next thing and the correction. This is a pleasure. It is growing my vessel. It is growing me stronger with you, and I am on purpose and better on purpose because of it. Y'all have a good day. We'll talk soon.